Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Vault. My name is Tony,
And as always, I'm Parker.
and today, unfortunately, we have some bad news for of you who don't know. The lead guitarist from the original band Kiss, Ace Frehley, has passed away. He was 74 years old. This just happened a matter of hours ago, or at least the official news of it from family said that he had passed, and we thought, well, obviously our channel is all about music, and
Yes.
we should definitely do something about Kiss and about Ace Frehley. So, Parker, you're a bit younger than I am. Are you familiar with Kiss?
Very much familiar with Kiss. This is um, one of those passings in music history that warrants this emergency podcast. Is we would traditionally record these. We're usually in the studio together. I was not at work today, but we knew the gravity of it. We knew the impact that Ace had, and so we needed to do this. And so yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Kiss. Um, I will. I think one of my favorite things about Kiss is when they randomly show up in films. So so they had a pretty big part in Role Models. Randomly, they were in that one movie. I can't remember the name of it. It's Bryan Cranston and James Franco.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's the one where James Franco is like the techie guy that's dating Bryan Cranston's daughter, but like they have this weird thing with Kiss. Well, then there's a shot of like all four walking down Main Street. I think it's great. And then obviously, they met Scooby Doo at one point, so that's always a good time.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, this isn't about movies though. This is about the music. I mean, I think Kiss is one of the best rock bands of all time.
Mm.
That being said, and you mentioned you're a little older than me, so you probably grew up in a time when they were much more famous than they are now. Because my generation kind of really only remembers Gene Simmons for his that family show he did on A&E, where they
Yeah,
followed his family around.
sure.
But you were probably more, not saying that you were around in the '70s, but you were probably more cognizant of their music in their heyday.
Yeah, just ever so slightly. I mean, to tell you the truth, Kiss being such a large band, it is actually one band that I just never really explored or got into. I mean, their influence and just on pop culture is undeniable, and it's just everywhere. And just like the movies that you just mentioned, the TV shows, that's mostly how I know them. And I'm sure there's plenty of songs that are by them that I had no idea was them. But for the most part, obviously it says on the bottom here, we're going to come up with our top five greatest hits. A lot of the songs that I chose are actually just from like movies and shows of just like, yeah, like these guys acknowledge Kiss in this way, and that's how I know them. But yeah, I think during my tenure, the biggest thing that I was a part of was whenever they took off the makeup and were very
Yeah.
much trying to do the non-makeup thing, and yeah, kind of seeing what they're all about from there. And aside from that, my cousin gave me a cutout of Gene Simmons, one of those life size cutouts, and we would like trick each other by like trying to scare each other by placing Gene in different parts of the house. But
Oh
eventually, my
my
parents would
God.
get so mad that
Could
Gene
you
would keep showing
imagine
up.
getting a glass of water at night and just dropping the whole thing because Gene Simmons is in your kitchen?
I don't have to imagine that kind of stuff happened all the time, and so yeah, Kiss has an odd influence in my life without like really realizing it, and unfortunately with Freely's death, it's a sad day for music, music lovers and musicians alike. But on the plus side, I think this will, give more exposure to the band and their music, including myself, which I'm sure I'll sit down and really give. some albums a listen to. But in the meantime, there are enough songs that I have heard to actually come up with what I believe were my 5 favorite songs by Kiss. And I'm sure you already have yours. Would you like to start it off?
If you want me to, I can. I just we always try to introduce a vinyl into each episode. I do have a copy of Kiss Double Platinum. Uh,
Nice.
it's an interesting album because it has Strutter 78 on it, which I had to do some research on. And apparently, in 1978, they wanted to re-release Strutter but make it kind of disco-y. So there's Strutter, which we remember from like obviously like my generation, we remember from like Guitar Hero, Rock Band. But I guess Strutter 78 was something interesting. I made a list in my notes. I'm gonna pull my notes up. I'm gonna see if everything's still cool. Can you still see me? Can you still hear me?
I could still see you. I could still hear you.
Okay. So I have number five. I've got a tie, and I have two ties on this list because this was a difficult list for me to make.
Hmm.
So at number five, I've got Calling Dr. Love, tied with Beth. I feel like Beth needs to be on any top five list of Kiss songs just because it's a great song. It's one of those. It's a slower ballad for those who might be unfamiliar with Kiss, but it kind of really displayed their range and their emotions. They weren't just singing about rock and booze and busting hotels up. It was an emotional note from the band. So I got Colin Doctor Love and Beth tied for five.
Hmm.
And then my last tie is number four, and that's where I've got Strutter, and that's tied with "I Was Made for Loving You," and that's got "I Was Made for Loving You's got one of the catchiest um, riffs with like the vocal riff, like
Yeah, yeah.
I want to sing it, I don't want to get copyrighted. We all know what I'm talking about, and it's got
Yep.
a really good bass line about halfway through in the bridge area. Kind of going to number three, what you were saying. I wish I was alive when Kiss came out with no makeup because I feel like that would have been a really crazy day.
Hmm.
So number three, I've got "Lick It Up." I think that's I think one of just the best classic rock songs of all time. I just think I think it's a great song in general. For it to be number three, obviously my list of classic rock songs is pretty lengthy. Number two, I've got Detroit Rock City. I feel like that's almost like an anthem. It's an iconic song. It's just I think it's gosh, it's been in so many movies. I mean, didn't they make a movie
Yeah.
called like Detroit Rock City?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's an anthem. You hear the na 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 na, and you immediately know exactly what you're about to get into.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna say my number one. I want to say my number one because it's not what many people would have as their top hit.
Sure.
Um, but I'll explain why I have it as my number one. But I want you to go ahead.
Okay. Um, so I also have a tie for 5. My number 5 was between "Lick It Up" and "Love Gun." Um, for "Lick It Up," I remember the music video. And obviously them without the makeup and everything, and it's probably to me the most popular like imagery of them without makeup. Um, that I always see because I mean, when you think Kiss, you're definitely thinking the full makeup and everything like that. But
Yeah.
with that in particular music video, I picture that. But I also think of the movie Role Models, and Love Gun was a prominent part of it as well, of conversation, and of course them also dressing up as the characters.
We forget about Happy Gilmore.
In Happy Gilmore, where the
There's a bit when Adam Sandler's talking about his grandma and how she was like a big fan of
oh
Kiss, and she's wearing the Gene Simmons mask.
yes.
And I completely blanked on that, and I forgot that Kiss was also incorporated into one of the greatest sports films of all time too.
Just thinking about that scene, of course, when she first opens the door and you see her, but then I can't help but also think of whenever Shooter McGavin is making out with Grandma with the Gene Simmons mask. Yeah. So my number 4, I'd say is "Rock and Roll All Night." It is probably the most played, in my opinion, of their music. But I mean, it's a full on anthem, if not like one of the first original anthems, right?
Yeah.
Very very simple, but very very catchy. And yeah, that song is just it's everywhere. And it's for somebody like my parents who are immigrants. I mean, they know the song, they know the lyrics. It's simple enough, that they get it. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, it was
think,
it was one of the first party anthems,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
absolutely. So yeah, that's my number four. My number three will probably go to "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." Now I don't know if
Okay.
you've seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the sequel, um, but if you're not familiar with the movie series at all, it's Keanu Reeves, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a part of the greatest band ever. But this is in like the past. In the future, they will become the greatest band ever. In the sequel, they still haven't become the greatest band, but they're destined to. And at the end of the movie, they finally decide to really learn their instruments and play a song. And the song that they play is Kiss's "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." And it's really really neat. Just obviously they're air guitaring to it, and or lip syncing and things like that. But I totally thought it was a Bill and Ted original song, and I was like, "Oh, this is a great song." And then roll the credits. It's like, "Oh, it's Kiss." Like, "Oh, cool." Like, there's another
Right.
song I had no idea that was Kiss's, and definitely a song that I love. Like watching the movie, and it leads to that moment because it's such a crescendo right there. Um, my number two, I would say, is Detroit Rock City. Um, Lots of rock band and lots of rock
Yeah.
band playing it, right? And that's always a go-to. And then I'd say for my number one is "I Was Made for Loving You."
Really.
Yeah.
See, so my number one, and you stole all my reasoning. My number one is Love Gun.
Okay.
I think that's the greatest Kiss song. I think it's a top 10 classic rock song of all time. I've insert expletive, love that song. I just in for some of the same reasons as you, seeing it in role models, and Sean William Scott's using a very interesting storytelling method for the song. But I love the guitar work, and I wanted to make this list so badly because I wanted to give Ace the credit that he deserves. And it's not an iconic solo like Another Brick in the Wall or Stairway to Heaven or Hotel
Hmm.
California. But just if you haven't heard the song, listen to it. It's probably the last 45 seconds of the song. It kind of breaks down a little bit. Ace, grabs the axe, goes to town, and then you hear him. It kind of sounds like the band's playing the song, but then Ace forgot to be a part of the band and then just started playing whatever the hell he wanted to play.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and I love that song so much. And I think it was Paul Stanley who wrote it, but I thank the band for playing it.
Hmm.
It's probably it's in the rotation 100%. And if I have to listen to if you came to me and you're like, hey Parker, you have to play a Kiss song or something happens, it's Love Gun. There's no hesitation. It's absolutely one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I agree. It's definitely up there. And most of the songs that I chose are just out of nostalgia, out of just listening
yeah,
from other mediums. But yeah, so yeah,
it's
that's our
it's
top list.
yeah, it's a shame he passed. And I didn't realize he was. I think he was 74.
Yep.
It's one of those things. As I get older, I'm like, man, I kind of forgot that as I get older, everybody else gets older. And it sucks. I think I read something about how he had an injury from a fall, and it just escalated from there.
Yeah.
It's a tragic situation, but the best way to remember those who contributed to the world is to focus on the art that they left behind. And I think everyone needs to put Kiss on their playlist tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. I believe Gene also was injured recently. So hopefully,
Yeah.
last I heard, he was doing fine. But like, yeah, it's hard to hear about your childhood heroes, becoming old because
Right.
you just think they're immortal, but that's not the case. So yeah, so rest in peace, Space Ace, and yeah, I think that'll do it for the Vinyl Vault for this
Yeah.
week.
In this,
Um,
they have such a vague, or not vague, broad repertoire of songs. I am very curious what some of our listeners and followers will think if, if they feel like we've completely missed the boat on a song, or
mhm.
maybe they like the same ones we picked, just mixed up the order a little bit. Um, I want to hear from our listeners and our viewers what they think about this, because I mean I think this, like I said, I mean I can only say it so many times. Great band, great music. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity to see them earlier, um, and I just chose to opt out, and now it's one of those things where like, man, like because one of the big appeals about them is also their live shows, right? I mean, it's a
Mhm.
spectacle with the fire breathing, the blood, and Gene's tongue, and the whole spectacle of it all. And sadly, I mean, luckily there's still people around, but it's
Won't be
becoming
the
less and
same.
less of a thing. So yeah, it wouldn't be the same. So yeah. But yeah, in the comments, please let us know your thoughts and your stories about Kiss. And yeah, well, I guess for Parker, I'm Tony, and this has been the Vinyl Vault. We'll see you next week.